Your mind has been running you, not guiding you, not advising you, actually running you like software that nobody ever updated, executing the same anxious programs it learned decades ago. And you just let it happen because you never realized there was another option. Most people live their entire lives believing that whatever their mind produces is simply the truth. A thought arrives, and they treat it like a news broadcast. A feeling surfaces, and they treat it like a command. The inner voice says you are not ready, and they stop. It says something is dangerous, and they retreat. It says you will probably fail, and they never begin. But your mind is not the authority on your life. It is just a pattern recognition machine that was built in childhood, shaped by fear, and has been protecting you from threats that mostly no longer exist. Think about that for a moment. The you that developed most of your core mental habits was young, scared, and operating with incomplete information. That version did what it needed to survive a world it did not fully understand. But you are not that version anymore. The problem is that the mind never got the update. It is still running the old code, still generating the same warnings, still trying to keep you safe by keeping you small. The relationship most people have with their own mind is genuinely backwards. They let the loudest, most anxious part of themselves make the final call on every major decision. They negotiate with their fear instead of leading through it. They wait for their mind to feel ready before they act, not understanding that the mind will never voluntarily feel ready for anything that matters. Readiness is not a feeling the undisciplined mind produces. It is a decision the self has to make despite what the mind is saying. So, what does it actually look like to flip this? What does it mean to take the mind from master and put it where it belongs, which is in service of your life rather than in control of it? The first shift is awareness. You cannot govern something you cannot see. Most people are so fused with their thoughts that they cannot distinguish between the thinker and the thought. They believe they are their anxiety, their self-doubt, their inner critic. But those things are just signals. They are weather patterns moving through consciousness, not permanent facts about who you are or what is possible for you. The moment you create distance between yourself and your mental activity, everything changes. You stop being the storm and start being the sky that the storm passes through. The second shift is direction. An undisciplined mind will always default to what is familiar. It will generate reasons to avoid discomfort, arguments for staying where you are, and elaborate justifications for playing it safe. This is not malicious. It is just what minds do when left without a clear directive. Your job is to give it one. When you have a clear intention for who you are becoming and what you are building, the mind becomes a tool in service of that intention rather than an obstacle to it. You stop asking your mind what to do. You tell your mind what you are doing and let it figure out the how. The third shift is the hardest one. It requires you to act before the mind agrees. This is where most people permanently stall. They want internal consensus before they move. They want their thoughts and feelings to be fully aligned with the action they need to take. But that alignment almost never comes in advance. It comes after. Courage does not feel like confidence. It feels like fear plus movement. The person who speaks up in the meeting before they feel ready, who starts the business before the plan is perfect, who has the difficult conversation before they have found the perfect words, that person is not fearless. They have simply stopped requiring the mind's permission to live. There is something profound that happens when you consistently take action despite the resistance your mind generates. The mind eventually recalibrates. It learns through experience rather than through argument. You cannot think your way into trusting yourself. You build that trust by doing the things your mind said you could not do and surviving, then doing them again. Over time, the mind begins to offer different signals because it has new evidence to work with. This is not about silencing your thoughts or pretending negative ones do not exist. A quiet mind that never challenges you would be useless. Your mind at its best is extraordinary. It can solve problems, generate ideas, anticipate consequences, and create beauty. But that only happens when it is working for you rather than governing you. In your life, who is actually making the decisions? Is it the person you have consciously decided to be, grounded in your own values and vision? Or is it the anxious, pattern-driven machine that learned fear long before it learned freedom? You already know the answer, and you already know which one should be in charge. The mind is an extraordinary servant. It was never supposed to be your master. Reclaim the seat. The rest follows from there.